So I just bought an electric car, the Chevy Volt, so it can tie me over until I get an Aptera. My other car broke down, so I had to get something just in the interim. I'm actually going to probably get the Fisker Ocean, probably in exactly 1 year from now, and then I'll get the Aptera probably a few months after that, just the way the timing works out as far as production numbers. But I'm looking at, I'm at the charging station for the first time that I've ever been to a charging station, and I'm realizing that, well, I knew this already, but it's quite slow, and but I'm definitely saving quite a lot of money by having a Volt and just using electric power when I need to, and then if I need gas, I get gas. I don't have to worry about having to charge all the time. I can pick and choose when I can charge or when I want to charge and when I don't, and I can go to a gas station whenever. And right now that seems like the best strategy for someone in my situation where I'm not sure how to charge at home exactly because I haven't bought another house yet, and I'm at an apartment for the time being, so I'm not exactly sure how to charge there. So I'm at a Kroger, so I can charge at the Kroger, but 30 minutes of being at a Kroger and coming out is not going to do much with battery with the type of charger this thing has, the J1772. So this 2014 gets about 40 miles of range on a charge, and that's reasonable, and that's definitely something I can compare it to when I get an Aptera. So Aptera, you can get 40 miles of charge just from the sun alone, not having to do anything. And if I can survive doing that 40 miles a day on a Chevy Volt, I can probably do that with an Aptera as well. With an Aptera, I get a whole lot of miles on top of the additional 40 miles of range. I get additional, if I get the 400 mile range version, I get an additional 360 mile range on top of that. So if I need to go over 40, that's fine. And then I can charge at home, and I get way more charge. I can get about 150 miles of range on a charge just from a 110 volt outlet. So that's good. And I'm an investor, so I definitely see the opportunity here to make a reasonable amount of money. So plus I believe in the mission, especially with Aptera. So I invested about $62,000 into Aptera, and then I called up my friends and family and had like Zoom meetings and stuff, and basically I got them to invest another $40,000 just from my parents, sister, cousins, and then I got some other friends to invest. So it should be over $100,000 that I've gotten people to invest by just showing enthusiasm, basically. And I don't think they're going to be mad at me for telling them to invest. So right now Aptera is hitting the gas, basically trying to get this car into production. So I think the IPO is very soon. I think somewhere around October this year, or sometime around between then and March of next year. And I think the IPO is going to be well over $1 billion. And if you invest now, then you're going to make some money, in my opinion. So I think depending on whether the market is going to recover from this point right now or not, it's going to decide whether we're going to be able to get a IPO around $2 billion or more. So the CFO wants to have an IPO of over $2 billion. That's the plan. At least that's what she signed the paperwork, basically saying that she get an incentive if she gets that amount. So $2 billion, you're going to 4x your money if you invested at a $500 million valuation. Right now it's a little bit over, it's about $600 million. And then that funding round ends on January 5th, very soon. So after that, the IPO might happen, or we might have another investment round with Regulation A. We are not sure yet, but right now it's definitely a good opportunity to still get in, because it looks like this thing is going to happen. We're going to get some cars out the door. Around 10,000 vehicles a year is their goal for right now, and then 20,000 vehicles shortly after, and then they're going to have multiple locations to try to have way more than that. So it's pretty good. Aptera's manufacturing strategy is really good. Like, they're really going to save a lot of money compared to any other EV company or any other automaker in general, and pass a lot of those savings on to the customer. So you're going to be able to get basically the most efficient EV, the most efficient vehicle in all of North America with the Aptera. So the actual starting price is going to be low. It's going to start at $25,900, and then the actual repair costs are lower than any other EV, or it should be. And also the general maintenance cost is going to be lower than pretty much any other vehicle. So it seems almost like a no-brainer. I mean, right now everyone's talking about how hard it is for a car to go into production. Like Lucid Motors is failing, sort of. I mean, they're doing their thing, but not very well. And Rivian is also having problems, but what Aptera is doing is way more cost effective. They're saving a lot of money compared to those other companies. So they're also providing a product that the average person can afford. People don't really want to pay for a small truck that costs way more than an F-150 Lightning. Like, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And the Lucid Air, I've seen it on the road a few times, and I'm supposed to be excited when I see it. I'm usually excited, like when I see the Ioniq 5 and the EV6, I'm like, oh my god. But when I see the Lucid Air, I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. It's got a nice little chrome thing in the front, but it's not exciting, and it costs a whole lot of money, like almost basically $200,000 for that car. So I don't see why anyone would be interested in that. So I feel like Aptera and Fisker as well should have a valuation ultimately higher than both of those companies in the future. The only thing is that, Lucid has something like $4 billion sitting in cash, which is substantially higher than both of those companies. And Rivian has about $17 billion in cash. I mean, it's dwindling down rapidly because they spend like $4 billion, was it a quarter or a year? One of those, I think a quarter actually. Something like that, something ridiculous. So we're looking at Rivian and Lucid sitting around a $30 billion valuation right now. Actually, Rivian has gone down substantially compared to where it was. It was at over $100 billion valuation, which is absolutely insane, around November of last year, before all the stocks in the market started getting hit, especially the EV stocks. So right now we're looking at a recovery potentially to levels a little higher than where they are now. But let's say if there's no recovery at all for something like a Rivian or a Lucid, but it stays around the same level as that right now, then obviously a Fisker and an Aptera are going to go up to the benchmark. So I benchmark Tesla, and then I look at Lucid, and then I look at Rivian, and I benchmark Lucid and Rivian versus the valuation of something like an Aptera. So you look at Aptera and you think, oh yeah, that's not going to be like a normal car. No one's going to want that compared to a four-wheel vehicle. But I mean, it's a whole lot cheaper. A lot more people are going to want an Aptera than a Lucid Motors or even a Rivian. Yeah, okay, a Rivian is making trucks. Trucks are popular in America, but spending a whole lot of money on a car is not very popular anywhere. So obviously the Aptera has an advantage over both of those companies in terms of that, and the specs that it offers are substantially better, unless you really want 4 seats, 5 seats, and you really want some type of towing capacity. If you want cargo space, you're going to have plenty of cargo space with an Aptera in general. So I'm invested pretty heavily into Aptera's stock, and I'm pretty happy about it, I guess. I mean, if it fails, it fails. I wouldn't have changed a thing if I lose, that money. It's something that I believe in. I really want to actually work for the company as well. I want to go out and fly out to California, to San Diego, and work for Aptera directly. Right now I'm a brand ambassador, and I really want to do more than that to be more interesting. I'm really not doing much else right now except for researching Aptera and all of its competition and everything in the EV space and even the just automotive space in general. So I'm not going to go into all the details of why the Aptera is basically, I consider, the best car ever made if they actually make it. You can watch another video for that, and you'll see basically, if you do some research, why it basically will be the best car of all time, in my opinion. Not almost factually, but yeah, my background is originally in finance. I have a finance degree, economics minor. I do some real estate. I do some marketing, customer service work as well, and I would say this is a good opportunity to make some money. If you want to take the risk, it's definitely a substantial risk. You could lose everything technically, but it's up to you if you want to invest or not. That's it for the video.